This is Benjamin Linus. I'm one of the good guys. You're listening to The Lost Initiative, Sky One's official Lost podcast. Namaste.
Previously on Lost.
Are you ever gonna take us off this island?
No. I know who you are, boy. I know that everything you have, you took from me.
We have to go back!
You come here to kill me, Benjamin.
I'm here, Charles, to tell you that I'm going to kill your daughter.
This is the Lost Initiative from Sky One.
He changed the rules.
Welcome to your guide to episode 11, Cabin Fever, where we have the return of Richard Alpert, Matthew Abaddon, and Geeky Thomas. I'm Ian Lee, and this is the Lost Initiative.
The Lost Initiative with Ian Lee.
I'm joined as always, ladies and gentlemen, by Paul Terry, editor of the official Lost magazine.
Afternoon.
And joined, as we occasionally are, when he can be bothered to get his fat, hairy backside out of his sick bed, it's Geeky Thomas.
All right.
Now, we've got an email from Dwayne, another unhappy one. He emailed
Another
last
unhappy
week.
one, okay.
Oh my god, that guy that complained about me last time.
He complained about you last time, he's
Yeah.
complaining about you now. Last week, I voiced my thoughts on the situation regarding Geeky Tom's absence from the podcast. Upon sending the email, I expected affirmative action. However, Geeky Tom once again was unavailable, and when you called him up asking him to verify his so-called sickness, his lame and childish attempts at faking a sick voice not only spoke volumes about how little he cares for not only the show, but thousands around the world who tune in to listen to him. But I think that's a slight exaggeration on our figures.
It's bloody funny, though.
Once you informed him of my complaint, not a single bit of remorse could be heard in his voice, and I might add, you called him, eliminating his ability to threaten to hang up to save his credit to call all of his fellow geeks for more bacon sandwich-related activities. If Geeky Tom decides to make his presence felt this week, I not only want, but I demand an immediate apology. I hope this situation ends sooner rather than later, as it is quite distressing for both me and my family. Tom, your words to Dwayne.
I'm really sorry, Dwayne. I don't know.
Is that
Do a
it?
sincere.
I thought that was.
Do it properly. Go on. Do an apology to Dwayne. There you go.
I'm really sorry, Dwayne, for not being around last week and for having a bacon sandwich the week beforehand, and just generally a bit sorry and that.
Well, I hope that clears things up for you, Dwayne, and that you can get on with your life now. Can we get on with the show now, please? Locke's flashback. We've not seen as much of Locke this series as I was hoping to. He's been in and out, popping around, but to get a whole flashback, and we see Locke surviving a very premature birth, and Richard Alpert popping up in the hospital. When Richard Alpert popped up in the hospital, it blew my freaking mind. Again, he hasn't aged. It's 1956. He's the same age he always is.
Yeah, that's his thing, though. That's the thing he does.
But was he around then, or did he go back? That's the thing.
Time travel.
He definitely went back, you reckon?
Unless he's an ageless wonder. Is he an ageless
Wanderer of time. And,
Wanderer.
of
Well, is
dimension.
this is the thing.
Wonder.
Is he travelling through time, or is he doesn't age and he's an immortal? You know that in 1956 he looked like that anyway. So
I think that they're just travelling through time and poking time to make
He's
stuff
a very
happen.
patient man, then, really, to be, this is like a good 50 years have passed, and he's still checking in on these people if he is.
Well, no, when you think about time travel, though, you could be in one spot in one time and just go back, do a bit of poking, go back to
but I was
that
saying
other
if he
time.
wasn't time travelling, if he was just around, then, it's a very long process.
well, we know that
attractive
time travel
process.
is an important thing in this, but that would mean that when Alpert saw Ben, was it in this series or maybe it's the last series, where he sees Ben as a boy on the island,
Yeah.
says your mum's out here,
Yeah.
and he still looks the same. So has he travelled through time then? Because we assumed at the time
He didn't look the same. He had a beard and a
No, he didn't have
and
a
a
beard.
long hair.
he didn't have a beard.
Yeah, he did.
What are you talking about?
He had a bit more 5 o'clock shadow, like 9 o'clock shadow, but he had longer hair, yeah. That's a haircut, that's not like
He looked,
an
and
age
it was
thing.
in the rags from his boat.
Well, you can change. You're in rags now, but it doesn't mean that you used to live on a boat in the olden days.
He had long hair.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
think
that
about
long. It
think
was
about what the
long.
others
It wasn't
did.
that long.
The others dressed up as rags. They weren't actually raggedy, were they? They were just dressing up. So
So do you reckon that was him dressing up?
manipulation. Yeah, it could
Can
be.
we? All right, listen. You're both idiots. Can we get once and for all? And look around the table. Do you think Richard Alpert is immortal and doesn't age? Tom,
No.
Paul Terry.
I'm leaning towards that in the regard that he's probably an experiment of some kind. Yeah.
He's an experiment?
Yeah, he's like a biological experiment of some kind.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Emily's mum. By the way, Locke's mum. Deary me. Emily's mum. She looks a bit shocked when she sees Alpert, doesn't she? Is that because she recognises him, or because there's a strange
She
man
looked
with
frightened.
dark eyes?
Yeah, but maybe he was. Who said he was? It me or someone else said he might be the father of John
It was
Locke?
me.
Was it you also?
Because I thought he might be a sexual adventurer a few times.
You would, though. If you could travel through time, you would have women from all different periods of time, wouldn't you? You'd go to the 50s, the 80s, the future women in their silver spacesuits.
Exactly.
Well, okay. Do you think Alpert is actually Locke's dad? What about Anthony Cooper? Because he's an old man.
I thought that Anthony Cooper adopted Locke. I don't remember.
He
He definitely was fathered.
This is what we've been told, that Anthony Cooper's seed impregnated a lady, and that Locke became the produce of that.
That must have been the older man that they were talking about.
But if it wasn't his real dad, that would explain why Anthony Cooper wasn't really bothered about the
I don't
son
think
in
it
general.
was. I think he was Anthony Cooper was just
add
conning
some
him.
weight to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I thought that was what we need anyway, that Anthony Cooper was conning Locke into giving him loads of money.
No, but excuse me, here we go. Anthony Cooper must be his dad.
The whole kidney thing.
Because of his kidney.
Yeah, bingo.
Because of his kidney.
Yeah.
So he must be his dad.
That shot me down.
So you've been shot down. Emily gets run over. There's a lot in Lost. There is a lot of car accidents.
Yeah.
For example,
or are they?
Well, exactly. When Anthony Cooper goes to the island, he was involved in a car accident, wasn't he? And when Kate escapes from, Kate's involved in lots of car accidents.
Michael. He was hit by.
There's lots of these car accidents. So, is it an accident, as you say, Paul Terry? Has someone done that to stop Locke being born, to make sure she has a premature birth? What do you think?
Or maybe it's an opportunistic way of taking the baby away from her. If it's premature, then it can be taken down the corridor and whisked away. But I don't know. It's not jumping forward to the Michael Abaddon bit, but in a similar way, it feels like we were talking about destiny versus people telling people to do things, or actions provoking other actions. But then, if it is all laid out, why do you need to provoke the action? So it's getting very intricate.
There was a quite an esoteric spiritual conversation we were having during the episode of Lost about destiny and whether things are destined or whether they just happen. It got a bit confused.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what we were talking about. We'll come back to it later on, because it is relevant with Abaddon, and it's also relevant with the Doctor on the boat. But a little bit more of Locke's flashback. We see Locke when he's a small child, and Alpert pops round to give him some kind of test when he asks, "What items belong to you already?" Any ideas, Tom?
Yeah.
We had a big conversation, 10-minute conversation about whether he said belonged or belong.
I think he says belonged first, and he says that which belonged to you already is
Yeah.
the second thing, I think.
Yeah, no, that's right.
That was a strange test.
You mentioned reincarnation.
I kind of thought that it could have been a loop thing, like, Locke dies later on and carries his memories and then gets reborn.
You said reincarnation. A loop thing is what I said, and that makes it a different thing.
Oh, okay, I'll go on with reincarnation.
But
then.
no, because I've been thinking now, and I know a little bit about like the Dalai Lama and stuff like that, and it's a very similar test. It's similar to a reincarnation test that they use to identify the Dalai Lama. Yeah, I just remember reading that somewhere.
Yeah, just top of your head, that one.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
nice.
it could be reincarnation, but it seems more the whole loop thing that everyone is operating on a loop.
Possibly, but again, it provokes the same argument, as in, why does he need to test him if he already knows in the future what he's destined to go on to be? Why does he need to go, "Are you the special Locke?" when he already knows that? If he is a time traveller and he's already been to the future and seen Locke land on the island.
Alpert gets arsey, doesn't he, when he picks up the knife?
Doesn't like the knife, does he?
You've muffed it up, you little sod.
God.
Screw. The items are, let's go through these one at a time very quickly. The baseball mitt, no relevance.
No,
The Book of Law?
Is that Newton's Book of Law, maybe? Book of Laws? Physics? Something?
Oh, that's quite good. That's good.
A container of granules. Now,
That's got to be Ireland, isn't it?
No, I want that to be the ash stuff.
Is it
around
ash?
the,
It looked more like sand to me.
It looked like multi-grain peppercorns.
It looked like the island, bits of Ireland.
It looked like the island.
It was Ireland in there.
A compass. The comic, which has got something disappearing to a lost land or something.
So I like that little comic.
And a floating city.
Was it Hidden Island on the
Flying Island of Laputa.
The knife that he gets arsey about, and Locke, of course, has drawn a picture of the black smoke, which would imply he has an awareness of.
I was more freaked out about that, to be honest with you. Like, objects aside, I thought the fact that how could he possibly know that about the smoke monster?
And it was a little bald fella as well, like him.
Yeah.
Oh, being attacked by the black smoke. Oh.
Do that again.
No, that's a one-time only one, that is.
Can we get that kept? That's my new ringtone, please. Oh, I'm being attacked.
We need to put these up on the website, yeah. More
We
ringtones.
should do. We should do some Geeky Thomas ringtones. We've got an email from Kathy about Richard's test. What I think is actually going on here is that Alpert is seeing if Locke has found out how to go back in time to pick his constant to stabilise future events. When he says what you actually own, he doesn't mean at that point in time, but at any point in time. Duh, yeah. Richard Alpert... Yeah, of course, we worked that out.
This week, stating the obvious.
Richard Alpert will be his constant, but Alpert will only know that Locke, child, is aware of this if he picks the correct item, something they agreed upon in the future. Maybe Locke has successfully gone back, hence the pictures of Smokey. And maybe Smokey I think she means the smoke monster,
Yeah,
is Locke's constant, followed by 6 exclamation marks.
Sorry.
The smoke can't be a constant.
I'm sure to find a constant you have to have some kind of dialogue
I like
to agree with
Alpert,
that,
though.
but you know.
Go on, Tommy, the Alpert stuff's quite good.
Yeah, being a constant, being there throughout his life, which means that if he ever did want to time travel, then Alpert would be his constant.
But he has no awareness of Alpert.
He does when he meets him. Right,
But wait a minute, aren't we completely missing the point of the constant though? I thought the constant was to stop you being unstuck in time.
Yeah.
You know, so isn't it like a safety preventative measure? Why do you need to have one anyway? If you're not unstuck in time, why do you need a constant?
Because if you time travel, then you do get unstuck in time.
What you will always definitely have that freak out Minkowski Desmond thing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay.
But it has to be. No, I don't think you would always have that freak out.
Really? That's why I'm
that's
arguing
when
it.
they came. That's getting near the island and muffing up with all of that. If you do it properly, it's like who's the physicist? He's obviously jumped through time, hasn't he?
Oh, what the Faraday guy?
Yeah, Faraday's jumped through
Yeah,
time.
and in his book he said, remember...
Desmond is my
No,
constant.
he said didn't he say if anything should go wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Alpert pops up again because he gets a mention as the man from Mythalos Laboratories who wants Locke to join their summer camp. Now, my mind was blown seeing Alpert. It was doubly blown when Abaddon pops up again. How cool was that? Have a listen to this.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm a cripple.
Is that what you are, Mr. Locke? I went on my walkabout convinced I was one thing, but I came back another. I found out what I was made of, who I was.
And here you are, an orderly.
Oh, I'm a lot more than just an orderly, John.
That was pretty amazing, wasn't it, when
Yeah.
Abaddon pops up?
Yeah.
I didn't spot it until the camera panned up.
No,
you see a bald black gentleman pushing the wheelchair.
It's one of those, the cheeky camera tilt up with little wink, like, ta-da!
And we're not
But I
that,
like that,
we're
yeah.
not that familiar with his voice.
No,
are we?
very
Tiff?
smart, very
He's been in,
smart
how
to
many
do
times
that.
has he been in the show? A couple of times?
Twice, because he's been seen asking Hurley, are they still alive, in the mental institution,
Right.
and he's been recruiting for Widmore's freighter.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
managerial chat with Naomi, yeah.
And now he's pushing Locke towards the island.
But again, what we said earlier is that, does he need to do that? Isn't it already going to happen, or has it already happened? Has he already gone to the walkabout in his line of destiny? He's already done it, so why does he need to say, hey, go on a walkabout? Why does he have to actively do that? That's where I was getting
I know,
confused.
this is where
it's heavy stuff.
all the questions have been answered. Oh, and then there's another massive question that I don't quite understand. Well, obviously he's working for Widmore, or is he working for Widmore?
Yeah.
Is Widmore working for him? Do we assume that Abaddon is like Alpert and is a time traveller or an immortal?
He's referred to in the same way, isn't he? Visually with the camera.
I got the impression
on the show.
I got the impression, taking it down to basics, that if we go back to like episode 3 of series 1 or episode 2, whatever, when Locke is playing backgammon with Walt, and he says about black and white, there's good and evil, black and white. And if we take it on a purely physical level, are we to assume that black and white separates into Abaddon and Alpert, one is good and one is bad?
I think Abaddon is working for
I didn't say
Widmore.
that Abaddon was bad. Abaddon could be the good guy.
Abaddon is working for Widmore.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. Carry on.
And Alpert is working for Ben.
There we go. I like that. I like that.
That's
Yeah.
obvious, yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the island now, where Locke finally gets some help in his quest to find Jacob's cabin. Have a listen to this.
Hello there.
Who are you?
I'm Horace. Whew.
And what are you doing out here?
Building a place. A little getaway for me and the missus. No, I mean, sometimes you need a break from the DI, you know? The Dharma Initiative? I'm not making any sense, am I?
No.
That's probably because I've been dead for 12 years.
We see Horace. He must be building Jacob's cabin, I assume. That's what that is.
Yeah, and the whole tree bit. Yeah, we like that.
Oh, we're
'cause
pushing
of,
the same tree over and over again.
Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah. And who else was cutting down trees to build something earlier on?
Oh,
in the
no, this
show?
is your theory. Can carry on with this.
Yeah, this was good, actually.
This is nice, Paul.
Well, I thought we've not heard or seen any of Echo, obviously, for some time, but everyone assumed he was building a church, and maybe even Echo assumed that was what he'd seen in a vision. It was a church he was building.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a cabin or the cabin.
When's he coming back?
Well, he said to you that you'd see
He'd see
Echo
me.
in a more spiritual light.
Yeah, that was
so
the beginning of series 3.
we've yet to see that come to fruition yet.
Do you
but
remember when Tom used to call him Eco?
All right, you two.
Dear, what an idiot. I felt sorry for Ben in this episode. Did anyone else feel sorry?
Yeah, but that irritated me, but in a good way. As in, it's obviously good acting chops and good writing, but I hated Ben 2 weeks ago, and now I feel really sorry for him because he's getting his island taken away.
When he gets upset, he says, "I used to have dreams too. Yeah. My time is over, John. It's yours now." The island is rejecting Ben. In favour of Locke.
Maybe that's what they want us to think. It's not really. Maybe Ben is in complete control and always has been, and this is big summer.
And this is where he wants to be, blah, 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 the same thing. He's always in the right position.
Ben's always exactly where he wants to be.
It'll be a pretty impressive long con, though, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, we've been proved wrong before.
We know that in the future he jumps around the world, so he lives.
Yep.
He's fine.
Yeah. Works with Saeed in a veterinary surgeon.
They go to the death pit. The death pit.
I like that.
With the Dharma bodies to find Horace, and Ben says it wasn't his decision to kill them and that he wasn't always the leader. I instantly assumed Alpert.
Yeah.
But it could be Jacob, I suppose, because Jacob is where they're going to find out what to do. What did you think, Paul Terry?
I think it was Alpert he was alluding to as being the leader. But then, that's the thing, at which point will that switcheroo happen? Because Ben joining the...
Switcheroo? Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, Ben joining the group as almost like the youngest member of the original others, or the hostiles they're referred to. But at which point would he say, you know what? You can take over, your leader. Would Alpert think that incorrectly Ben was special, that he was the next one in line, or...?
There seems to be some kind of line of guardians. Maybe before
it's a bit like
Ben...
Mary London, isn't it, really?
Yeah, maybe before Ben there was a guardian until he started getting cancer and stopped getting visions.
But Alpert's still around, so why would he become a subordinate to Ben?
When's the last time we saw him, though?
Well, he was
when they were all moving to the temple.
Onto the temple, yeah.
Alpert is still definitely about, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I hopefully will see him in the grand finale.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, I'm confused when that flip happened, when he would have, allowed Ben to take over.
For me, it was when they gassed. They used the station to gas the island.
What, literally, as they brought him into the group, they said, you know what, you can be a Cub Scout leader.
They go to the cabin, no one else goes in apart from John.
Yeah.
Hurley bottles it. Ben's like,
you'd have to go in, wouldn't you?
That
really?
bit where they're eating the chocolate bar.
You like that, didn't you?
Genius. I thought that was fantastic.
Classic.
It was Laurel and Hardy.
It was classic silent movie stuff, wasn't it?
And Christian Shepherd is in there, and he can speak on Jacob's behalf. Now, we said before that there was Christian Shepherd in there. When we saw Jacob before, we freeze framed it, and it looked like Christian Shepherd.
Well,
didn't
it didn't.
It did.
No, he had like curly hair on the side of his head.
No, it did. I've seen it. I've seen it since with my young lady friend.
Yeah.
And no. You saying as though I haven't got a girlfriend? You've got a girlfriend. She's quite fit as well. It's called Fandango, but I can't do anything about that. But
is she really called Fandango?
Yeah, she is. Just leave it.
Okay.
But it was definitely Christian Shepherd.
Okay, so maybe then he was seeing that split second thing was Christian, but sat in the chair as a representative of Jacob.
How can he be a representative? I don't understand.
It's crafty, isn't it? You wait that moment, and then he's like, "No, I can speak on his behalf." And
Christian Shepherd.
Yeah.
Here's a basic question. Maybe I've missed something here. Christian Shepherd's dead.
Well, yeah. As far as I know, he was in a coffin, wasn't he?
Yeah. So what the flippin' heck is he doing in a cabin with Claire?
But this harks back to the whole thing when way back season 1, coffin on island, empty. I can't remember how all the characters reacted to that, or how Jack reacted to that, but did he assume that in the tumble of the crash that the body flew out through into the ocean? Yeah. Fans are thinking, was he ever dead in the first place? Did he climb out of the coffin? No.
You don't listen. You're not in a coffin in an aeroplane crash. Then it falls out and you
drumming.
It's gone then.
The island heals people, so brought him back from the dead.
Nothing stays buried on the island. Nothing stays
buried. Bingo. Yeah.
Which means we're going to see Nikki and Paolo.
Okay,
again.
right.
But you think Claire's dead, don't you?
Yeah. If Christian Shepherd is dead, that means that Claire is dead.
Or undead. But why would Claire be dead?
She looked stoned.
She died in that explosion, that rocket launcher that got fired at the house.
Fine.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, but Sawyer rescued her and she was all right.
No, she wasn't. She was unconscious.
She did come out of that completely unscathed in what I think very, very bad television.
Exactly. Maybe that's...
Maybe she's dead.
That's a bit of a stretch.
She did actually die in that.
I think it's the fact that her character's been heightened now. That she's even more important to the island in the show because she's the mother of this important baby, and she's the daughter of Christian Shepherd.
Christian says that
she's the half brother of
Aaron
Jack.
is where he's supposed to be,
and he shouldn't be there with them.
Yeah,
indicating that
he's got to get off the island.
That they're in a place where they shouldn't be, as in dead.
And slight segue, but didn't the tattoo on Jack's shoulder say he walks among us, but he's not one of us, or something? So
I don't know. I didn't watch the episode. It's rubbish. It's one of the most boring episodes I've ever seen. Christian says he can speak for Jacob, and his message to Locke is loud and clear. Have a listen.
Did he tell you what we're supposed to do?
He did.
Well?
He wants us to move the island.
Locke's been told to move the island. Why? And how does he do it?
Yeah, I think that's what we need to ask. Yeah,
Tom, you don't need to raise your hand here, but well done for doing so.
The Orchid.
Continue.
Is it the Orchid, the new station? The one where the bunny rabbits are being teleported about.
Oh, what was on the in the summer, the orientation video?
Yeah.
Was it the Orchid?
But for people who may have not have seen that, because it wasn't in the television series.
Oh yeah.
Fill us in, please. Tom.
It's
Fill me in.
Dr. Marvin Candle,
Yes.
Doodah, what's his
Hallowix,
face?
Candle,
Changes
Wibbly,
his name
Wibbly.
every 5
Yeah.
minutes, fiddling with some bunnies. Not in a bad way, but in a way that makes them teleport behind him onto a big tray of what?
But moving an island is a big thing. You sent me a nonsense text in the week that I didn't get back to you because it was rubbish.
It was brilliant.
No, it was rubbish. I texted Tom a text saying, "Oh my God, what an episode!" And Tom texted back saying, "Oh yeah, I know. That's what the pink light was and the noise was at the end of the other series. That was the island moving."
Yeah.
But Ben didn't. Ben has obviously moved the island before.
Well, has he?
I assume he has, yes.
Well, you should
under-
never assume.
Let's assume makes an ass out of you and me, but let's assume for a moment that he has teleported the island. He would have been aware of what that noise wasn't the island teleporting. That noise was the defence mechanism being lowered because
it moved.
The magnet blew
what,
up.
what was the? They're all really knocked about when the electromagnetic thing got nullified. What was they were saying? Oh, this doesn't work. Communication is down. It's wrecked everything.
And by the
so-
way, it doesn't actually move left, right, forward and backwards. Moves through time, something like that.
He's good, isn't he? He's good, but that's obviously nonsense because you could, if it moved through time, you could still find the island.
Yeah, but nobody would be on it though.
Well, then that's even better because then they can just go and take the island easy.
But if it moves
The
through
island-
time, as in millions of years ago, where it was originally on planet Earth, wouldn't other countries and land masses have to move to accommodate it in space?
The landmass moves, doesn't it?
The island moves.
No, as in the landmass has moved over the Earth.
Island moves.
No, as in. Okay,
No.
bear with me.
No,
All
I
right.
won't because the island moves.
Okay. But
We haven't got time for that. Back to the show on the freighter. After the failure of the first mission, Kimi, who's becoming my hero, is moving on to Plan B.
What is that?
It's a secondary protocol.
What does it say?
Says where Linus is going.
How would Mr. Whitmore know that?
She's a very smart man. And if Linus knows that we're going to torch the island, there's only one place that he can go.
What do you mean, torch the island? That was not the agreement. I agreed to ferry you here for an extraction mission.
What is the secondary protocol, and how does Widmore know where Ben would be going?
well, it's got a Dharma logo on the front of it.
Yeah. And what does that mean, Tom?
That Widmore's Dharma.
Yeah, you reckon that, don't you?
Why have a Dharma logo on the front?
It doesn't
of
necessarily mean he is
some
Dharma.
orders. Some
but
orders
it's-
that they get
it's-
given.
Yeah, but it's like a report. If
It's like orders. It's like.
Yeah, orders for
Calm
something
down,
to do
calm
with
down.
Dharma.
One at a time.
Why
Tom.
don't you think it's Dharma?
I just don't think he's
Give me-
Dharma.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I think you're being led to assume that.
Kimi is good, isn't he?
He's
the
evil.
man.
But I love him.
What's the thing we see being strapped onto his arm? Any ideas? Is it a bomb?
It's
Is it a
important.
time machine? Is it the thing? Is it the machine?
Time machine. I like that. Yeah,
What
that's
are
good.
you laughing for?
No, I know. I like it.
It's a good one. It's a time machine
Fluxing.
that travels. It could be fluxing.
Yeah.
Flux you. It could be jumping about through time and space with that.
It looks like some kind of regulator. It's regulating his body to do something.
Maybe it's an anti, staying on that bearing of 405. Maybe it's one of those to
I
stop
think
stop
the
him.
bearing's 302, isn't it?
I think it's got to be something to do with their attack on the island. That thing it enables him to do something. It has something to do with the black smoke.
But he went, whoa, don't. When he went to shoot him,
Yeah,
he was like, whoa, what's that?
Is that like a detonator that's got a nuclear bomb on it that will blow up?
Maybe Kimi is a machine. He's a robot.
The black
somewhere.
smoke is what totally destroyed them. And the moment they got off that boat, they went and got that strapped to him.
So you think it's to defeat the black smoke?
Oh, maybe it's anti-smoky.
I Smokey. No, please, let's not pick that up.
No,
I
my
think it's
rabbit's
to do.
called Smokey.
I think it's to keep time constant.
I like that. Yeah.
It's somehow it's keeping time as it is. It'll stop the island jumping through time and space, but it keeps time constant. That by wearing that, he cannot be bounced about through time and space. Tom.
Well, which one? The island is not going to be bouncing around with that thing on him.
Oh, Kimi.
or He's not going to
Kimi.
be. Yeah, no, go
I like that. Yeah.
That's good.
He's so determined to go back to the island that he kills the captain. Disappointed in that. And then Dr. Ray.
This is our big discussion.
This was good. Go
But
on.
this was really. There was no reason to do
Paul,
that.
I'm going to stop you there. You rudely cut into Tom.
Did I do it rudely?
Yeah, you did rudely.
Oh,
Tom,
I'm very sorry,
This
Tom.
better be good that whatever comes out of your mouth.
Come on.
'cause
Well, this is
I
what we were
prefer
t-
Paul. I don't want to be rude to him.
We were discussing fate and destiny and time travel.
We certainly were, yes.
Right, so they found a doctor on the beach, yeah?
Yeah.
So that means that he has to die.
No, I disagree with that basic premise. It means he has died.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he has to die.
In some form of reality,
it means
yeah.
he has died.
So what happens if they stop him from dying, getting his throat cut?
What if
They've already found his body on
But
the island.
he always, at that point, he always he always will die. It's
Yeah.
not destiny. It's just that happens. It's
That's
not
fate.
destiny, though. It's
Does
not
that
fate.
does that make him invincible then? Can he be like shot in the head like Michael?
Well, Michael is invincible, it turns
Yeah.
out. I think at some point, maybe in the end of this series, the big finale, Michael will have to do something. Once he's done that thing, then he can be shot. And you were saying, Tom, he'll have to make the decision to do that, and then he'll get a bullet in the brain.
Yeah.
But is it destiny, or is it... I think that the Doctor... I don't think it's destiny. It happened. It just happened. It's not destiny.
But it seemed really random. I know they were making an example and say there'll be more people killed if you don't take me back to the island. But the fact that it was the Doctor, and he wasn't giving any back chat necessarily, he was just standing
But next time, yeah, maybe say if they found the Doctor and they'd actually got a working phoned up and gone, we just found the Doctor, he's going to get his throat cut, yeah, and warned him and say, go and lock yourself in your room. Will that stop him from dying?
No, because he has always died. He always has died at that point.
Or will it always... So you can't change the future then?
But
it's not the future. That's happened. It's not the future.
But the time
But it
difference,
is.
it seems to be getting longer.
But the time difference...
It's 2 days now.
Yeah.
We're on 2 days.
But that island is going into the future though.
Yeah. I swear to God, next week I am actually going to bring in 2 copies of Slaughterhouse
Yeah.
5. You will read it because it will
Before the
explain-
finale. We're reading it
Definitely,
next week,
because
yeah.
it is the answer to all of this. Now, the helicopter flies over the island, and they drop a bag with a satellite phone, and Jack goes, "Oh, I think they want us to follow them."
No. He goes, I think we should follow him.
Well, what clue was there that they wanted them to follow them? I didn't see anything in there that said, "Will follow us."
Well, a blinking light, but, you know.
I assumed that it was thrown by the lawnmower man himself, Frank, to sort of help
Mr.
them.
Jeff. I like Lapidus.
So
That's
do
what I said.
What?
I like Lapidus, and I trust him all the way.
Oh, it's a man's name. But it could also have been Kimi was throwing it out to entice them.
Oh, like
death.
it. Yeah, like it. Yeah. He's pretty. He's good at thinking on his feet, isn't he? So
he's a cold hard killer, and he will kill them.
Okay, let's go. We're going to call her on the last night. I don't excite you, ladies
expecting
and
that.
gentlemen. No, this is someone who's not in England.
What?
Someone in New York City, which I
shut
believe
up.
is in the United States of America. Michael, are you there in America?
I am here in New York City.
We've got Geeky Tom here this week. We've got Paul Terry. Michael, what the hell have you got for us?
Okay, Jack was not lying on the stand entirely. That the Flight 815 really did only have 8 survivors, that 2 died in transit. And that everyone else died on September 22nd, 2004, but is saved by a time loop that Ben had put on the island.
Oh.
Now, if the plane would have crashed anywhere else, the Oceanic 6 still would have survived, but we're still kind of questioning Aaron. We don't think Aaron's still a 6. And they'd be able to be on the island because of this time loop that takes place in 1996.
Are you saying that if they were to... Because the island is travelling backwards and forwards through time, possibly, that if they move the island through time, are you saying that everyone that has died on the island will come back to life?
Well, this is the thing. Because of this time loop, right, the time loop had to do with the hatch for 108 minutes. And when the plane crashed into the island, everybody who would have died was alive in 1996. So instead of being healed, they reverted back to their own prior selves in 1996. Like, Rose didn't have cancer in 1996.
Oh, okay.
Black wasn't paralyzed in 1996.
Oh, it's good.
I
I like this.
You know what I mean? Like, Hurley
This is good,
wasn't
man.
crazy yet. So everybody who wasn't altered or physically, fatally, hurt during the crash was able to survive. Now, what happened was after the hatch exploded, now I think the island is moving on regular time, but from 1996. Now, this is a reference to a time loop theory by a guy named Jason Hunter, and I severely suggest everyone to go to his website, which is timelooptheory.com.
I think we've been there, yes, we've seen it, yeah.
It's really extensive. I think, it explains a lot more than we can discuss right now. But his theory basically claims that Ben put the island on a loop so no one would find it, and by doing so, all these people, were quote-unquote healed. Now, they reverted back to themselves, and our theory is that the reason why Jack wants to go back to the island now is that he wants to save his friends from dying, because once the island reaches normal time of September 22nd, 2004, all those people who originally died on the plane will die again for real.
This is good. I like the fact that it's related to consciousness as well, the whole consciousness travelling through time. So their consciousness, in part from 1996, is what's, come back. This is good. Fairly good.
So I like it. I'm slightly confused. Michael, are you saying that at some point, if we follow this through, with the island moving forward in time, at some point Rose will get cancer again and Locke will become a cripple again?
Correct.
Wow.
Once the island finally reaches them up into the point in their lives where, something had happened to them. The reason why we also think that Aaron is a discrepancy is because technically Claire would have died on the plane and Aaron never would have been born.
So basically, as a new life, he's something completely unaccounted for. He's like a complete anomaly. Okay.
Correct.
And that's why Claire can't raise him, that someone else has to raise him.
Correct.
Maybe he shouldn't ever exist. That he's almost like causing an anomaly through dimensions.
That's how we're feeling so far. I mean, you guys have just finished watching Cabin Fever, correct?
Oh, man, what an episode.
Right. We actually think that... do you remember the part when Locke goes into the cabin and Christian's there and Claire's there?
Yes.
We believe that Claire actually, again, died in the explosion.
Oh, Tom thinks that.
That's Tom's theory. Tom's there.
I totally believe that Claire died in that explosion, and that's why Miles was looking at her kind of strange, and that's why she's able to see Christian, and now she's finally done.
Michael, listen, hands across the water on that. You've probably spoken more sense than Geeky Tom has in his entire career. Michael, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.
There we go. I'll be honest, when I found out we had an American on the show, I wasn't expecting much. That was brilliant.
That was
brilliant.
Slightly blown away. That was amazing. Yeah.
That was very good. If you'd like to come on the Lost line or to send us an email with your theories, then send an email to lost@sky1.co.uk. Lost@sky1.co.uk. Thank you to Paul. Thank you to Geeky Thomas. Paul, can you sum up what you got from this episode, please?
Locke's history, there's got to be more to tap into that. Amazing.
And Tom? I'm afraid we haven't got time for you.
I'm going to make some time.
We haven't got time.
I'm going to carry on talking.
Well, I've got to introduce the fact that we'll be back after the next episode, which is part 1 of the 3-part finale. There's No Place Like Home. You're right.
Yeah, good. Very excited.
Oh, okay.
Very
it's
excited.
on Sunday, May the 25th at 9 p.m. on Sky 1. I'm Iain Lee. That was The Lost Initiative. Tom, you can do it.
Oh, namaste, etc.
The Lost Initiative is a co-ink production for Sky One.